Now, I think it's pretty safe to say that both Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni are very much on point with all of their plans for the future of Star Wars, ranging from The Mandalorian to the Ahsoka series to Star Wars Mandalore, which, by the way, is technically a Bo-Katan series with a mixture of Tar Vizsla stories being introduced with the addition of characters like Ahsoka, Luke, and more. However, on top of this, what's even all the more exciting has a lot to do with what Jon Favreau recently had to tease for the upcoming Mandalorian Season 3 on Disney+. This is Mike Zero. Subscribe if you're new and like this video to see future Star Wars updates. I'm also on Twitter at Mike01. I thank you also very much for the great and kind support. Now, we know that Jon and Dave have spent a great amount of time on this actual season. In fact, they spent a lot more time writing this one than they did for Season 2, which goes to show you that it's not necessarily longer, but it's got a lot more thought that went into it during the writing process, during pre-production, if you will. And that really just goes to show you that they really took a lot of time, they were very careful on this actual plot, and wanted to make sure that it's going to be more surprising and revealing than Mando Season 2. Now, we already know that Mando 4 is going to have bigger revelations than this one, but on top of all of this, what's even all the more exciting about Jon Favreau is exactly what he himself had to reveal and tease for The Mandalorian Season 3, which is just under a week away. So let's tap right into this. Now, we already know that Jon Favreau himself has been running a lot of things by George Lucas to make sure that everything that he does is going to be working in conjunction with a lot of Legends lore and things that George Lucas can approve on. So that's the great news about this. Now, with Disney and Lucasfilm getting ready to make big improvements to the Star Wars franchise, creators Jon and Dave are beginning to develop many new upcoming titles for the franchise. Now, in a recent interview that Favreau took part in, he went on to tease something substantial for The Mandalorian Season 3. Favreau went on to actually state the following to fans. When myself and Dave were writing this season, we knew that we had to up our game from Season 2 with the amount of surprises that we have coming for the third one. Now, though I can't reveal everything, I am willing to let fans in on something that will give them an idea. So, we had this idea with the third one, on how we could completely change the fans' perspective on Revenge of the Sith, and the characters involved in those movies to get mixed in with the characters that we introduced in Mando. Myself and George felt that the twists and turns we wanted to create for Mando Season 3 would be something that we could actually create huge implications on the third prequel movie, and let me just say this, that it's going to get very dark, like very dark, with what we wrote for these revelations that will change the end of the prequels forever. So let me just stop right here for 1 second. Now, obviously Favreau is being very direct here that the revelations that are going to be coming out of Mando Season 3 are going to get very dark. There's no doubt about it that what Favreau is alluding to when it comes to how it's going to change our perspective of Revenge of the Sith, that this most certainly has to do with the Order 66 flashbacks that were already teased in the trailer. Alright, there's no doubt about it. We know that Jon Favreau is all about cameos, he's all about going back to the days of the prequels and the Order 66, moment that's going to really kind of revitalize the brand. Now, the thing about this, too, is that George Lucas gave the okay on all these revelations because, specifically, it's going to change Revenge of the Sith forever, as Jon says. Now, I don't know about you guys. Some fans may not like this. Some fans may be very much ecstatic over this. I am very much excited about this personally, to tell you the truth, but if they do something wrong, if they even make a slight mistake, that's going to create major ramifications on the prequels and how fans view them, that's when you know that they blew it. But I don't think that's going to happen. I seriously doubt Jon and Dave are going to make that big of a problem. What they are about to establish is something substantial, and they know that. Now, moving on forward from all of this, we know that Jon Favreau, from this point on forward, is all about creating twists and turns and revelations that is really gonna kind of add more value to characters like Anakin, to characters like Grogu, Palpatine, whoever it may really be. That's gonna really reshape the end of the prequel trilogy. Alright? Moving on. Now, he goes on to actually elaborate. Part of it is related to answering some crucial questions about Grogu, but it's even way more than that and separate from that. Some of the fan favorite characters will hold twists of their own in this season, and we made this all happen in the second half of the show. I am willing to say that some of the big characters in Revenge of the Sith will hold strong connections to our existing characters in Mando, and how we execute that took tons of time and patience on our end and getting approval from George, and he just loves everything about it. Now, this is something that I think needs to be kind of recapped a little bit. Now, we know that George Lucas has been very much upset with what happened by Kathleen Kennedy, and now he's approving all of these great twists and turns by Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni, which is great, and the fact that these twists and turns go beyond Grogu makes you wonder, is it Anakin? When you watch that teaser trailer, or the trailer I should say, when you see that snippet of Order 66 and the Jedi facing that door, there is absolutely some kind of lightsaber piercing through that steel. And is there a surprise behind that door? Yes, I do believe so. Going back to one of the storyboards that we talked about 11 months ago, that long ago already, one of which featured a hooded figure with a blue lightsaber blade piercing through a door. Now, it's very well likely that it could be Anakin, it could be somebody else, but who else would be facing Jedi if they have a lightsaber, right? It's definitely Anakin, it has to be. If it's not, maybe it's a twist that it's another Jedi that's going against others. Who knows? I highly doubt that. But Jon Favreau is putting it out there that it's not just about Grogu. Grogu's a part of these revelations, but it's more or less about how Grogu's presence during the events of Revenge of the Sith, how he has a direct impact on many of the existing fan favorite characters from Episode 3 and how that's going to be established. So honestly, I think that you're going to get a lot more teases to come by Jon and Dave in the coming days prior to Episode 1 airing. Unfortunately, we learned that Episode 1, by the way, it's only like a mere 30-something minutes long with credits, so you could be looking at like 31 minutes, 30 minutes, maybe even 29 worth of material on March 1st. Just putting that out there, guys. So overall, I think that George, Jon, and Dave, they are on their A game, they know what they're doing, and it's going to be quite a ride throughout March and parts of April to see how this all concludes with the third season. So overall, guys, fill me in below in the comments what you guys have to say about this, and if you guys did enjoy the content for today, make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support, and I'll catch you guys next time.
From night to moon we hear